I'm Moshiach. And I'm Yankee. This is the Tzivos Hashem News Update. We're following a story taking place in the year 3026. That's 734 BCE. This morning, when children walked to school, they were shocked to find that the doorways of their yeshivas had been boarded up. Apparently, King Achaz had declared that all the yeshivas in the entire kingdom be shut down. What do you think King Achaz is up to? Nothing good, Yankee, nothing good at all. I can't understand. Apparently he has some sort of a twisted idea that if he closes the yeshivas down, the children may actually stop learning Torah. Furthermore, they may actually forget the Torah that they've been learning until now. Let's go now to our reporter Musya Mendelson reporting live from the scene. Musya?
Moishi, Yankee, I am standing here right at the site. All the entrances and exits to the house of study are closed. But Yeshaya Hanavi and the children are still learning. Now we're back to you at the studio.
Thank you so much for that excellent report. And in other news, there's word coming out of the city of Shushan, the year 3404, or 357 BCE. We have reports that Haman is planning on wiping out the entire Jewish nation. And wouldn't you know it, our sources are telling us that he's got a big red bullseye set on the Jewish children. You mean he's actually targeting the children first? That's right, Moshe, he is targeting the children first. What is wrong with these people? What do these kids do? We now go to our Shushan correspondent, Yossi, who's standing by with a live report. Yossi, tell us what the feeling is out there.
Honestly, the situation looks grim. However, Mordechai believes that even in the face of total annihilation, God will protect the Jewish people. In fact, Mordechai has gathered 22,000 Jewish children to learn Torah. Back to you in the studio.
You know, Moshe, it's amazing. Whenever the Jews are threatened, the kings and the leaders always attack the Jewish children first. I was actually going to say, I see a pattern developing over here. In every case throughout history, they're targeting these children first who have never done anything wrong. They've never even met the bad guys. Furthermore, they're doing everything Hashem wants them to do. I just don't get it. Absolutely, and the pattern works both ways. You know, it seems that Jewish leaders can always depend on the power of the children for a victory. And I mean 22,000 children. That's a lot of power and a lot of children. 22,000 children, that is a lot of kids. I was actually going to suggest that. Okay, we have a breaking news report right now. It's developing straight out of Russia. The year is 5687 or 1927. Apparently the Yevsektia and the GPU, or the Russian secret police, have joined forces, and their hopes to try to get every single Jewish child to stop attending a cheder. We now go to our correspondent, Rivka, who's actually standing in Moscow with a live story. Rivka?
It's actually quite scary. The GPU seems to be gathering information about the Lubavitcher Rebbe. They know that he's in Moscow and they're doing everything in their power to arrest him.
But Rivka, I'm guessing now that this information has become public, the Lubavitcher Rebbe is probably going to run away from Moscow towards Leningrad, where his home is. Is that correct?
Actually, no. We would have hoped that the Rebbe would run away, but that's not the case. In fact, on Purim Koton, the Lubavitcher Rebbe said a mimer about the power of Jewish children, and he nicknamed the Yevsektia as the Haman of our times. And furthermore, the Rebbe is encouraging everyone to open up a cheder and keep the learning of Jewish children alive. Back to you in the studio.
And there you have it, another shining example of how the Jewish leaders wholeheartedly believe in the power of these children, so much to the extent that they're putting their lives on the line in order to keep the learning of these children alive. You know, all this talk of the power of children reminds me of when I was younger. My parents actually told me of the Six-Day War. I believe it took place in the year 57-27, that's 1967. Frank, do we have any footage to put up on the screen? Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Well, all the Arab countries made a surprise attack on Eretz Yisrael. Right before the war, the Rebbe made a massive Lag BaOmer parade on Eastern Parkway, gathering thousands of children. Right. The same thing happened in the year 5773. That's 1973. when Israel faced more enemies right before the Yom Kippur War, the Rebbe had asked that Jewish children's rallies be made throughout the entire world. And the Rebbe kept emphasizing over and over again, it's the power of these children that will protect Bnei Yisrael. Isn't it unreal that the power of the children's psukim could win the war? And now, for the highlight of this news report, we go to the Tzivos Hashem headquarters, where we are joined by Commander 613. Boys and girls, Achaz, Haman, the GPU are all gone. But the enemy is alive and well, and he's fighting you guys every single day. Do you know who the enemy is? The enemy is the Yetzer Hara. I want to hear you saying, who is our enemy? Louder, who is your enemy? That's right. It's the Yetzer Hara. Yeah, and the Yetzer Hara plays with your mind. He tries to get you to want the things that aren't good for you. And then he tries to get you to dislike the things that are very important. And finally, he messes with your head. He tells you that you're one of the bad guys. But are we going to let him win? No. Are we going to let him win? No way. Do you know why? Because generation after generation, the Jewish children, their power have been protecting the entire nation. How, you ask? With the psukim of Torah that you recite. And this generation will be exactly the same. We're about to all say these psukim together. I want to hear them as super loud as possible, and let us break the boundaries of Gullus and bring Moshiach right now. Thank you, Commander 613. And thanks to all of you for joining the Tzivos Hashem update.